what is going on, guys? Welcome to Guitar Lessons with Scott. I'm Scott, and this is music theory video number 5. And in this video, we're going to finish up the circle of fifths. We're going to take a look at the E major scale and the B major scale. We're going to take a look at what a diminished chord is, and we're going to finish up that. And yeah, and then in the following videos I'll quickly go over the circle of fourths, and we can dive into even more fun stuff. So let's get to it. Let's finish it off. And yeah, so the first scale we're going to look at is the E major scale. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, so for the E major scale, we're going to start on the second top string here. We're going to go up A, B, C, D, E, right there. And we're going to start with our middle finger. So that's the 7th fret, I believe. Second to top string. Starting with our middle finger, we are going to play. We're going to play the major scale, then in the same way that we play it in all the videos, the same finger pattern. Okay, so in the E major scale, there's 4 sharps, as it says right there. We got 4 sharps in the E major scale. 4 of them, so there's a good amount of them. Pause the video, practice on your own, and whenever you're ready, resume the video, and you can double check to see if you're correct. So what we got? So we're starting on an E, and we go to F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and back to E. Okay? So we got E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. And if you wrote it down, which you should have counted out. Don't cheat and look at that one. But we got 4 sharps in the E major scale right there, right? Cool. So that's the E major scale, and now we're gonna look. Now we're gonna look at the diminished chord, and it's an important chord just because it's one weird little chord that goes into basic chord progression. So you're gonna want to know this for later on not very long from now when I go over basic chord progression. You're going to want to know how to play this chord and how to find it, and it's good to know. It's good to know it. Okay, so what is the diminished chord? So the formula for the diminished chord is 1, 3 flat, 5 flat. It is a diminished chord or a diminished triad. I don't get very technical with naming things, but yeah. So the diminished chord, diminished triad, is 1, 3 flat, 5 flat. Okay, so it's a little tricky because there's so many sharps on these guys. So I just, if you want to write down E, G, and B flat, and we'll take a look at where it is on the guitar. All right, so we got. So what I do to find a diminished chord is I'll just play them pretty much forever. Like, it works for most bar chords. So if I'm trying to find the E diminished, I'll just play an E major bar chord. Okay? Which is right here. I'll do, sorry, and the other thing is, I'm not going over the major and minor. So I'll go back one sec. So I'm not going over the major and minor, major 7th and 7th chords we've gone over in the previous videos. I'm assuming you kind of get it by now, and so yeah. So if you want to, write down what the 1, 3, 5 is, play the E major and be like, okay, yeah, that's a E, a G sharp, and a B. Then definitely do that. But I'm just skipping that for the sake of shorter videos, and I think you should have got that down by now. But so we're just looking at the diminished chord in this video. Alright, let's go back to it. Okay, so we got E major, bar chord is right here. And so what I'll do for the diminished, I just remember, so how I played, a lot of people play diminished a little harder way. I like to do the simple way, and I think it sounds better, is I'll just take, from that bar chord, just got my ring finger, if you have those 3 notes, I just leave the middle one there, and you drop down the note above and the note below to there. And then I'll just kind of mute the strings around. So you got your ring finger is on the 9th fret, 3rd to bottom string, middle and pointer on the 8th, and middle's on the 2nd to bottom, and pointers on the string above. And then I just kind of mute all the strings around there. That's a diminished chord. Okay? So, and just for the sake of the theory behind it, so what are those notes that we're playing? So this gets a little tricky. That's why I'd recommend writing down the notes. So we got E. So we got 1 through 5 flat. So we got E, and then we have a 3 flat, 5 flat. So we're gonna have an E. We're gonna flat the G sharp. So it's just gonna be a normal G. And then we're gonna flat the B. So it's gonna be a B flat. So we have E, G, B flat. Okay. So, and it's even tricky when you're looking at it on a chord like this to really figure out what are those notes. Alright, so, so what do we got? So what is that note? That note is a B flat. This note is an E. And this note is a G. Okay? So we got B flat, E, and G, and that makes a diminished chord. And I know it's a little tricky to find those notes. They're in kind of a hard place to find them quickly. But yeah, so that's a E diminished. And yeah, you definitely want to practice playing that chord for chord progression stuff later on. I think that's the easiest, best way to play it, personally. But yeah, so that's diminished chord. That's the E major scale, and practice playing the scale, saying the notes, identifying the notes, and being like, okay, I saw the 4 sharps, you're good, and let's jump into the B major scale. Okay, so the B major scale, it says it has 5 sharps. So, lots of sharps in this one, right? Okay, so on the guitar, we're going to start way down here on this B note, right here. 2nd and top string, 2nd fret. Okay? And we're going to play the same pattern. Pause the video. Try to write down what you think the scale is on your own. Identify the notes on your own. Resume the video. And what do we got? Alright, so we got B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, and B. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sharps. A lot of sharps. B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B. Okay? So that's the B major scale. That's where I'd recommend playing it on the guitar to figure it out, because you can use the same finger pattern. You can also play it E, F, G, A, B. You can play it here too. But yeah, so that's the B major scale. And what is the B diminished chord? Okay, so we're going to do this same exact thing we did. So the notes for the B major, the B diminished, sorry, is B, D, and F. Because we have 1 is B, 3 is D sharp, we flat the sharp, and makes it a D. 5 is F sharp, we flat that guy, makes it just a normal F. So we have B, D, and F is a B diminished. Okay, so do the same thing we did. So a B major chord, bar chord, is just right there. These 3 guys down on the 4th fret, pointer here on the 2nd. Now B major. So we're just gonna put our ring finger right there, 3rd to bottom string, 4th fret, and then drop these 2 guys down a fret on the 3rd. Kind of try to mute the other strings around it, and you got a B diminished. But what are the notes? We got to figure out what the notes are. All right, so what's this note? The top guy, that's an F. What's this note? That is a B. And what's this note? It's a D. And that makes the B diminished. Okay. So, we have gone over the E major scale and the B major scale. And so, we have gone over, if you've watched all the videos and you followed along and I've explained it well enough for you, we've gone over C, G, D, A, E, and B. We'll go over this last guy later. It's both part of the circle of fifths and circle of fourths. But we'll go over it later. And in the in the following videos, I'll quickly go over this stuff because you've already learned how to that 1, 3, 5 is a major. One, in the minor, in the major 7th, and the 7th, and now you learn the diminished. So I'm just gonna, in the following videos, I'm quickly gonna cover up on here, and you can apply all the same things. And then we'll get into the really fun stuff like chord progression, playing in the minor scales, all the really cool stuff. So yeah, I think that's all I got for you today. Practice playing the scales, saying the notes out loud as you're playing the scale. Identify some chords. It's a great start. Definitely where you want to just get your basics down. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Practice. Love yourself. Adios.